Up, everybody? Welcome to NFL Clutch Sunday Report, hosted by Fourth to Go Sports. It's me and Brooke today. We're going to see if some more people are going to come on, but we're going to get the show started anyway because we're already had to flex it to the afternoon. So, how was your Sunday, Brooke?
It was okay. Had to work this morning, and that's part of the reason we flexed it. So, thanks for working with the flex on that.
Oh, no.
Other than that, a little disappointed. We played Denver. And we couldn't even beat them.
I expected the Vikings to get their first win. I expected the Bears to get their first win. And both teams, the Bears, before I left for the birthday party at 2:00, I thought for sure they were getting the W today. And then I looked at the Vikings before I left, and I'm like, these fucks are going to lose to Carolina. And by the end of it, they win, and the Bears lose. Don't ask me how.
And the Bears had help. You know the Bears had help. That first TD tomorrow, I'm sorry. I'm a Bears fan, but I'm also a football fan. The refs gave us a TD that should have never been given. Moore's foot was not down. It needs to be 2. You can't hit the pylon. It wasn't a TD. So obviously, Chris, I'm going to have to say our owner, Aaron Rodgers, who uses the ref, he made that call and said, hey, refs, help my team out. I still own them. That's the only way we got that TD. I mean, I don't know what ref cannot see. He didn't have both feet down when he possessed the ball. But we still lost to the Donkeys.
There's been close calls games. I don't know if you've seen the ending to the Washington and Eagles game, but McLaren made a catch, and I swear to God he was in. They ended up calling it incomplete because there was no clear evidence to see if his foot was actually in, but I'm pretty sure his foot was in with maybe less than 6 inches of green left. And it was so like a boom, boom play. The linebacker or the safety that tackled him, his arm hit his foot, and his foot went from going way left to completely turning in and touch as he went out. But they never had clear evidence to overturn the original call. And I'm like, dude, that's probably one of the greatest catches right there.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing with close plays. If there's not clear evidence, then they're not going to overturn it. So.
Yeah, and I don't know. I guess every angle that I saw that they showed on TV, you could clearly see his foot wasn't down. It hit the pylon, knocked it over. Nowhere did he touch it. He had one in, yes, but not the other. And me being a Bears fan, we all want them to score. We all want them to win. But even watching today's game, and I did kind of fall asleep through some of it because of the way my work schedule has kind of been packed this weekend, running a little low on sleep. I'm still not sold on Justin Fields. Denver had a lot of blown coverages. Have to give credit. That flea flicker play was kind of cool, and some of the other stuff they did. Putting comments up there to snap it to get us that first down. I mean, they spiced it up a little bit, I guess. It wasn't just the run play. Justin actually passed. But there were so many blown coverages that if these people were covered, I highly doubt Justin would have thrown to him. Just because I've seen him question his own throwing through the last 3 games.
Yeah. Now, when I was watching earlier, I mean, I'm not going to lie. Justin Fields I was actually just reading. He broke a record. I didn't get to read the full article, so I don't know exactly what record he broke. But they said he had a historic first half, and the part I was watching, he looked like Peyton Manning out there with how bad the Broncos defense played in that first half of that game. I mean, I thought he took off running on one play and he threw probably like a 20-yard dart. Probably one of the best passes I think I've ever seen him throw since he's been in the league. So, I mean, there was a lot of positives out from Justin Fields, but at the end of the day, when you actually needed him again to at least get you down to a field goal or a touchdown to finish the game off, he didn't show up. And that's the problem. But at this point, it's really hard, even though I don't think Justin Fields is an NFL QB, just from because I can't say it from what he's shown me on tape. Game in and game out, I've watched him. But the biggest question, is it really him or is it the coaches? Is it the front office? To me, I think the whole front office is a dumpster fire right now. I think the coaching staff is not much better, but it's almost leaning like I almost kind of want to see Justin Fields with a new coach. Like how would he look with somebody that can actually call plays and get him put him in good scenarios on the field?
But you got to look at the coaching staff when Chicago rebuilt this team and brought these coaches in. Those offensive coaches come from winning teams. I mean, Gessie's from Green Bay. Come on, man. I mean, what's the excuse we can't win with having him there and helping on that offensive line?
Because, see, I get where you're going with this. You got coaches that had success other places. But at the end of the day, that shit don't mean nothing. I mean, look at Matt Patricia. Look at how that played out. Like, yeah, I did not want to fire Jim Caldwell for a coach to do worse than he could. But was it time for Jim Caldwell to go? Absolutely. 2 years ago, he had 2 years. He had a division almost locked up, and both years he lost games we should have won that we had leads in because he couldn't adjust the play calls, and we lost the division both times last game of the year and lost all our playoff games. So when Matt Patricia came along, I was on board. Like, man, this dude is produced defense after defense. He's won how many Super Bowls with New England? Like, this is the coach that's going to be able to install the winning culture in Detroit. I was fucking completely wrong. He did worse than I think any coach we've ever had. I mean, he literally took a playoff team caliber and had it the worst team in the league for 4 years straight. You know, and that just shows you his resume could look beautiful. It could look Super Bowl success, but you also have to remember those guys weren't making all the big decisions. They were getting told what to do and how to do it and what guy to put here. And you know what I mean? They had to answer to somebody. And that's the problem is when you hire these coaches with all the success, you expect the success. But some of these coaches get that big ass head. They think they know right. They know what they're doing. It's their team. And I'm not really saying that that's the problem with the Bears coach. It just, to me, how I'm looking at it, you updated your wide receiver core. DJ Moore was a beast last season in Carolina, playing with multiple different quarterbacks, mind you.
Yep. 6, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. And he did not have, and since he's been with the Bears this season, it's been DJ who. So to me, it's like, okay, you upgrade your whole wide receiver core. It's still quiet. It's still crickets. We're not turning on Sports Center, watching these crazy plays on DJ Moore like we were last season. Claypool just got benched because he's calling out the coaching staff. You guys just gave away Logan Smith last year your best linebacker. But this year, you turned around and upgraded your linebacker core and spent a lot of money. You already had a good secondary. Your D line's been good too. And your defense still hasn't really done nothing since the beginning of the season. So now it's really, to me, the writing's on the wall. It's the coaching. Because I'm not saying you guys are Super Bowl caliber right this minute, because there's still a lot of things Justin Fields has to come along. But I don't think you should have been 0-4. You shouldn't have been. You guys should at least be in games and being competitive. But that hasn't happened until today. And then somehow they find a way to lose
to a team that gave up 70 to the Miami Dolphins. We lose to one of the worst defenses probably in the league. I don't know what to say. And you're right. Success is, they maybe have it with one team, don't have it with another. Just like today, I'm going to be honest, just got done watching the Chargers. Mac, 52, Cleo Mac. That boy put up 6 sacks for them today. 6. One shy of 7 to basically beat that record in a game. He caused, I believe I watched him strip O'Connell 3 times to force the fumble. But we let him go. For what? I'm looking at a tore down defense, an offense that can't produce. At least we could have had a defense. Smith is rocking it out with the Ravens. He is still putting up numbers. And I'm going to be honest, our running backs, I'm not really a fan of our running backs. We let a good running back go. I'm pretty sure you can tell me that running back produced like no other for you guys on Thursday night against the Packers.
Yeah.
Who is trying to call?
But yeah, I mean, what did he exactly say about Thursday night now?
Sorry, one of the people that's trying to get onto the show was trying to video call me. Thursday night, you guys had one of our better running backs, and we let him go because they didn't want to pay him.
Yeah.
He produced big for you guys. It's the thing is, it's sad to see a team that Chicago had built up producing, and they let them go. And look at them. They're shining with other teams. And Monty had a hell of a game Thursday night for you guys. I am still a huge Montgomery fan. So awesome win, taking the Packers down.
Yeah. The Packers Thursday night, so I will be all right. Okay. So everybody who knows me from me and Dave's show, the 4th and Goal broadcast, my prediction was the Packers was going to be worse. I thought the Packers and the Bears would be the 2 teams fighting for 3rd place. That's where I had the Bears at, just because where Justin Fields was as a QB. But I thought, there was a chance the Bears might be able to compete with Minnesota for 2nd place. I didn't have the Packers as good as what they have played. So going into Thursday night with how the Packers came out in the first 3 weeks, I wasn't nervous, but I expected a way tougher game than it actually played out. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie. The Packers, that first interception that Goff threw in that game Sunday night or Thursday night, at that point, I really thought, I'm like, here we go. The Lions are going to have a bad game on Thursday night. Just let it play out. We got the kick a field goal. And after that, it was like, holy shit.
Hey, Chris.
So, yeah.
Send me the Zoom code and password so I can get Dennis on, please.
Okay. So on Thursday night, hey, hang on, guys. Let me,
Okay.
Okay, the meeting code is
Hold on, let me get in there to type it. Maybe. Just lost it. Okay. Okay, meeting code.
992914.
Okay, what's the other thing he needs? And passcode.
That's what I'm trying to find out here. Okay.
Actually, I got it right here.
Oh, do you?
Yep, I'll screenshot it and send it to him. I found it.
Okay, cool.
All right, carry on.
So that first half of that game was just nuts for me because, like I said, I didn't expect it to. I didn't expect it to I didn't expect it to turn out how it did actually in the first half. But I'm grateful for it because I enjoyed that probably more in life because just like Bear fans, just like Vikings, let's be honest, let's be real. The Packers have dominated the North the most of any team. So to finally be able to go in there and do what they've done to us over the years was the best. And I don't know if all of you people are in these sports groups like we are, but man, listen to them Packers talk all week. Them fans were talking. Lions ain't shit. Lions are going to be the same old, same old. By the time the game started, they were MIA. None of them were talking. You know, and that was the best. And that was the best part. Is going to really dominate. We caught now. My favorite play was when Aaron Jones came back because I knew once Aaron Jones was playing in that game, they were going to really try to, run the ball. And you didn't really see Aaron Jones or hear much after he got the ball and got hit in the backfield and actually did a full flip. After that, it was like, I don't even remember. You didn't hear Aaron Jones' name one more time that night.
Nope.
And the Packers are still going to be around at the end of the season. Just because they lost to us, I wouldn't say that completely shoots their hopes for a wild card spot. But they got a long way coming, but they're the second best team in this division. There's no doubt about it. It's too early to say Jordan Love's going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback, but he don't look half bad as I think we all thought he would be. He makes smart plays. Oh, but he's not Aaron Rodgers, so the Packers are finally doing the rebuild, and they're coming a long way, man. But Thursday night was great. And the best part is the Packers, they were so mad because so many Lions fans, like they actually put a post on their shits asking the people, if you're selling your tickets, make sure you're selling your tickets to another Packer fan. Because there were so many Lion fans in that stadium that even after they left, there were still people and they were all in Lions jerseys.
A sea of blue.
It was definitely a sea of blue. There's a video circling around as like concession stands, like walking out of the stadium, and it was just packed with all Lions fans. You didn't see a Packer fan in sight.
I already said this, and I'm sure you've seen me say it before. the Lions are taking the North this year. I fully believe it. Dan Campbell has done awesome with that team. Watching it over the progression from last year to this year, I'm sorry, but you guys honestly have a good chance this year of taking the North, making it through the playoffs. I've just seen this team grow through the last couple of years. You guys have been in the basement so long. It's finally your guys' time. In Chicago, they're dumpster fire. I will admit my team is a dumpster fire beyond dumpster fire. One team probably don't give enough credit to is the Vikings. You know, I watched them play last Sunday and they had 2 chances to win that game and seal the deal. And it come down to the wire, and I don't know if Cousins screwed it up a little bit. I know JJ kind of I think he got hit right there by the end zone, whatever, for unnecessary kind of BS. But that team should be producing better than what it is. And kind of like you said, I guess I didn't watch the Panthers game today, but I'm surprised they almost lost that, because I surely had them taking them by a lot.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, did you hear last week? What was it? That fullback for the Falcons, Smith, that he hit on Knight with that helmet to helmet that never got called for the game. He just got a $90,000 fine.
Wow.
Yep. It was like 87 something thousand dollars he got fined by the NFL for that hit that was not called.
That's crazy.
So I guess the NFL is kind of going back and looking at stuff on plays that aren't getting called, those helmet to helmet contacts, because that one was kind of brutal on Knight. And that was a punt return, wasn't it?
It was either a punt return
or a kick return.
Or he was running the ball, because Knight actually did run the ball for us, because in Atlanta we didn't have David Montgomery.
Yep.
We didn't have David Montgomery. He missed that game due to him being injured. And then he came back. His first game was back Thursday night against the Packers from his bruised thigh. But so if I remember the play, it was either a punt return or he ran the ball out to the outside or caught a pass, one of the two, and he got hit. No, the NFL has always been pretty good on plays that they can make pretty much fine people for. You never really see the NFL miss too much when they can make the money. They might not call it in the game, but most of the time the players, they definitely still get their fine, because the NFL ain't gonna overlook that per se, because it's a business and the NFL wants their money, and you see it all the time with other plays. The refs to me have been they've been wild this year. I think in a lot of games, a lot of calls, like for instance, Hurts today, he threw a ball. I think it was Brown was supposed to go straight to the end zone. He cut out. He already threw the ball to the end zone. The ball fell incomplete in the end zone, and they called it intentional grounding.
It was a good call.
I mean, technically in the rules, you're 100% right, but I don't remember the NFL ever calling that 2-3 years ago.
No,
but now all of a sudden this year they're calling it every fucking game, and it's like, are you just making? It's like it almost makes you think they're making rules up as they go. Kind of, because to me it's like if you're going to call it now, why haven't you been calling it the last 10 years?
Okay. I get with you on that one.
Brooke, I just gotta
No.
share this. You're gonna probably, so don't hate me when I share this. Actually, hang on. I shared the wrong thing. Let's see right here. Can you guys see it? This is Justin Fields' stats for today.
I can't see.
He was incredible today.
He threw for 335 yards, 4 TDs. His QB rating was 132.7. And the Bears still lost today. So if that ain't coaching, I don't know what the hell is.
But like I said, when he plays harder defenses and he's pressured, it's like his progression. He'll look at his first progression. He'll bypass that one because he thinks it's too covered, not going to do it. It's going to get interception, whatever. Goes to his second progression guy, third, and then he takes off running. And that's fucked us in the last language. But like as I've said, it almost feels like he hasn't had confidence in his throwing over the last 3 weeks. Now, today, he played a shitty D that gave slack, didn't have the coverage on some of our players. There was some good coverage by Denver. I will give credit where credit is due in some areas. But there was times where our receivers had way more gap than they've had before, especially like with KC. Our receivers were covered. It was like he was afraid to take that chance. He didn't trust his throw.
Yeah.
If he plays with the confidence he played today and trusting his throw, he'll be good. He's got an arm. He can get it down the field. We know this. We know he's got legs. He can run. But again, that kind of comes back to what you said, Chris. Is it coaching? Is there not enough confidence there? What is going through his mind? Are they not developing him right? And for one, he can't read a defense to save his soul. And I'm going to be honest. I have yet to see Justin read a defense. And that was half of Trubisky's issue. The first year and a half Mitch came in, he couldn't read a defense. Towards the end, he was starting to be able to read the defense.
See,
well,
again,
I can't say that about Justin about reading defenses. It just seems like he's scared to me. Like he's scared to make.
I agree with that.
Yeah, like he's scared. And then we all expected him to take a jump because he got the same offensive coordinator he had last year. And then he upgraded and went and got a wide receiver for him. So we was like, oh, we expect him to make this big jump. I mean, they gave us a lot of hope in preseason, thinking that, okay, this DJ Moore and Justin Fields connection is going to be really good. Only problem is they don't seem like they're communicating pretty well.
No,
and I would say it's a Justin Fields issue, but this is more of a organizational issue.
I agree, because this is like, a lot of Bears fans always came at me because I'm the Lions fan, you know what I mean? And they would always talk like they were so much better. And where I own them is I've been paying attention to the Bears offense for years. Like, I really liked Urlacher. When you guys made a Super Bowl in 06, I was rooting for Urlacher. I wanted to see that dude because, to me, he's probably one of the greatest players to ever play the game, because that motherfucker never gave up. It didn't matter if you were 2-14. I watched the one year you guys were like 2-14 or something, or close to that. It was real bad. And it was Rex Grossman still as the QB. He threw no, they were on defense. That's right. My bad. They were on defense. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Well,
06 had a good team.
no, not 06. This was after 06. It was just it was a bad year for you guys. You guys only won like 2 to 3 games. You might have won more than that, but
Was it O'Donnell?
it was like towards the end of Rex Grossman's Bear career.
Sorry to hear that.
And they threw the defense let a receiver catch the ball like 40 yards and he ran it to the house. That whole defense quit. But Urlacher ran all the way to the end zone from like their 30. He did not stop running. The safeties, the cornerbacks, all stopped. Urlacher ran all the way to the end zone. There was no chance he was catching them, but he ran the whole field and tried. You know, so I always loved Urlacher for that playability. He was just that special player. It didn't matter. It was always enjoyable. So like 06, I root for you guys. But so paying attention to all these years, there's not one time I've ever turned a Bears game and seen a dominant passing game. To this day, it was always like mediocre wideouts, minimum passing plays.
Wait a minute. They had 1 year with Alshon Jeffrey and Brandon Marshall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a dominant passing game, and their tight end was Marcellus Bennett. That was a dominant passing game they had.
Yeah, and that year it was. I wasn't meaning like every year, but I was just meaning over these last 20 years. You've only had a couple of good passing. To me, the Bears have always been dominant on defense. Like I'll never take the Bears defense not serious, because that's something as an organization that I've seen the Bears do it all the time, is have great defenses for majority.
Not this year, but I get what you're saying.
But that's the crazy thing. If you look on paper, your defense is not bad.
Well,
that's where it comes to coaching.
I think
you got Pritzker, Sanborn, Gordon. You got some great stars coming up in there. We're still out Gordon. I believe he's still on IR, so we're still out him for another few weeks. Brisker, Jackson. What do you say about Jackson? Jackson is a give and take. When he wants to play, he can play. When he wants to cover, he can cover. When he wants to make moves, he can make moves. But lately, he just hasn't been showing up. It's just like, it's almost like he's lost spirit and he's lost enjoyment in doing his job on the defense. When last year, and even the year before, it was Jackson, Mack, Smith. I mean, these guys were all you heard because they made the moves. They were proud for the defense, holding, getting turnovers. Now it's just like there's like a switch that switched on him. I'm thinking halfway through last year when we got rid of Smith, Matt, and he's just like, screw this job. I'm just here to make a paycheck now. It's just like he lost the enjoyment of the game.
Yeah, and it might have to do with upstairs. I mean, once y'all got y'all got rid of Roquan Smith to go get TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edwards. Y'all could have just got Roquan Smith.
Yeah.
Well, see, the thing is Smith wanted to be paid like rightfully he should have been paid.
But you just paid them too. You just paid them to what you could have just paid him.
Exactly.
Well, it's like
that's what it made no sense, you know.
Now, it was time to get rid of Khalil Mack. I understand that.
Yeah. Dennis, come on, did you see him play today? Did you?
Yeah, but I mean, okay, that's today. Like we didn't see this Khalil Mack all last season. I think last season he had for the whole season 6 sacks. Like that, you're not paying about $20 million to get no 6 sacks.
Yep. Matter of fact, it just popped up on my phone. Khalil Mack sets NFL franchise record with 6 sacks.
He got 6 today, and that is great, and he deserves it. But in all honesty, this dude, you're not paying nobody $20 million to get you 6 sacks in the season. They have to get you 10 plus to get $20 million.
Exactly. And I mean, and honestly, it wasn't Mac's fault that he kind of slowed down. It's just where he's getting into in his career, to be honest. When he first came to the Bears, that was the window to go win it all.
Yeah.
And they had a good window, but Matt Nagy just fucked that up. It was like
No,
that's another
it
thing with the coaching. I think y'all get the wrong coaches.
it was for
Y'all
sure
I
because
think y'all fired the wrong coach.
if
It
I'm
was
not mistaken, Mitch's rookie year is the double doink year when you guys won the North, right?
it is
And
28.
you were the dominant team in the North, and and they were calling basically simple plays on offense for Mitch because he was a rookie, and you guys were still dominant. And then
Nagy
look what happened with Matt Nagy. The following year went to his playbook and said, "Hey, we're running our plays now."
Honestly, look at Kansas City now that he's running his plays.
They're good, but they're not as explosive as they were
They're not
last
as
year,
sharp.
the year before.
No, they're not as sharp. But you look at Washington. Now that Wichicom's over there, and they look a lot better. Hell, I was nervous today playing
Yeah,
against Washington. I'm an Eagles fan, and I was nervous today. All right,
I bet you were. I'm sorry, I had to go for the Commanders because I'm not used to the Lions being 3-1 and could be a dominant top team in the league. So now I'm looking at fucking Philadelphia. I'm like, come on, you're only going to lose 3 games. Fucking lose this one, damn it. This might play for home field advantage through the playoffs at some point.
I see you working on your shit early. I hear that. But as an Eagles fan, I'm gonna have to say we made Big Face Sam look like he belongs in the NFL today. All right, I call him Big Face Sam. That's what I call him.
Hey, that kid played his ass off, man, today. I don't think anybody can take anything away from him today because your defense got him 3rd and 17 on that final drive to go tie it up. And I'm like, yep, this is probably it. And then bam, he gets it. And then they need a 4th down, he gets it. And I'm like, oh, okay, this kid's pretty decent.
Yeah.
Also, here's some more Bears news. Bears spokesman says Chase Claypool was told to stay home, conducting what Matt Efforts told him.
Matt Efferlu, yeah. And I think they're gonna fire Matt. Matt has won 3 games since he's been with the company.
He is worse than John Fox.
They're gonna end up firing Matt. But then when you fire Matt, who do you bring on? Like a lot of people will say, "Oh, well, we want such and such, or we want."
We're still down a coach. We're down our defensive guy. Yeah,
honestly,
Matt was making calls for both.
That's because he's a pedophile, so that's on him.
I don't know. There was rumors that this got rated, that got rated. I don't know the full facts, but as far as I know, nothing got rated. His house wasn't searched by the FBI.
He's a pedophile, and that's what they saying on the street.
That's on the street. That's not factual.
It's not factual.
Well, here's the thing: we're not going to find factual because the one thing with the NFL and the one thing with the Bears, they're not going to tell us exactly what the fuck happened because if they say that's going to give them a big black eye on the whole league, the whole everything.
Hold on, Chris. If it was cocaine, they would tell us if it was cocaine. Okay.
Oh, for sure.
They don't have a problem because cocaine is considered a PED now. So they don't have a problem saying if it's cocaine. All right.
No, they're just certain things because, you know what I mean? When it comes to drugs, look how much shit we hear about drugs. You know what I mean? It's kind of old these days with the drug thing. It's people look down on it, but they'll forget it because it's happened so many times in sports across the world. You know what I mean? The politician world. You know what I mean? There's always somebody big and caught with drugs. It's not all that, you know what I mean? People are used to hearing that. But something like this is a little bit way deeper, and they already got enough shit with the domestic violence happening and the black eyes from that. This is the one thing they don't want to come out. And honestly, they might not be able to. They might come out with it. But I'll tell you this: if there was an investigation and his shit did get searched, there's a lot of legal shit that people can't speak out on until the investigation stuff is completely over with to see if there's any crimes. So it could play out that way, and they might say it, but they also might just try to sweep the shit underneath the rug and just play like, "Hey, man, we don't know why he really left." But to me,
kind of like they tried to do with Gruden.
kind of like with Gruden, they forced them out, like, hey, it, and to me, the whole Gruden shit, all that was some dirty, dirty stuff because they were there investigating the owner and they just investigated and they just pulled random people in and screw shit up.
But the thing is, it's Gruden. There was other coaches involved. There was other NFL officials involved, and Gruden's the only one who got screwed over. It's like, are you kidding me? So
that's why when you're in house and you're using emails, you want to say something that could possibly come back on you and bite you in your ass. You probably shouldn't send it in that email. Like, I get it's to your brother. But don't act like you don't got a damn fucking phone. You can't call your brother on a personal phone and tell him over the phone, and then there's no record of anything.
Right.
But that's just where people in this day and age don't use their damn minds. But, I do agree the head coach has got to get fired. And if the Bears are smart, they need if there's a front office and that has any sense of real IQ in there, they seriously need to sit back and talk to multiple coaches. Don't just go hire the one fucking coach because you've seen him having excess over here and then call it a day. But to me, I think it's more. I think the GM needs to be gone in Chicago. I think the head coaches need to be gone and I think a whole new slate needs to be clean for that Chicago team.
Clear it all again. Just wipe it clean.
Because the GM hasn't shown me any really smart moves. Because like Dennis pointed out, you wouldn't pay Smith, which is arguably the best linebacker in the league at his position.
He up there. He's top 5. So.
But you go and pay a bunch of money for 2 other players to replace your linebacker core that you could have paid him and only had to replace one linebacker. So
I guess they just in it not to pay no more big money to nobody. I can understand that, but if that was the case, you should have took that draft pick at number 9 and you should have drafted Jalen Carter.
Exactly.
Because I'm still trying to figure out what did you get from the Philadelphia Eagles to go from 9 to 10 that you were satisfied with?
Not much. The good thing is for the Bears right now, they hold the first draft pick if the season ended tomorrow. And they hold
the first draft pick?
Right now with their seeding. Because they're the worst team technically in the league right now.
If it would end tomorrow, we would have draft pick 1 and 2.
Yep.
And
because
we would trade it.
Because they got a number 2 pick from a trade, and I don't know where they got that one from though.
Last year, we gave away our number 1 for Moore and the number 2. That's why right now, if the season ended with the Panthers scoring what they are, we would have pick 1 and 2.
Because of Carolina.
Round.
So y'all will have 1 and 2 in the first and 1 and 2 in the second?
Yep.
Damn. Y'all get 4 good players in the top 35? Damn.
So, maybe they're doing the shit on purpose. I don't know.
They might be, but if that's the case, are you keeping Justin Fields? Or because now this is his 3rd year, so this is where it's like, hey, I'm going to give you that 5th year option, or I'm going to extend you for $200 million.
He is not going to get extended for $200 million. He is not producing. He is not even worth $50 million at this point in time.
You can say that. Hold on, Brooke. Now I feel you. I feel your frustration. You can say that, but is it because he ain't worth it, or is it because it's the whole building that's messed up?
It's a little. It's a little both. I'm going to be honest. When you're a quarterback, you're the one calling the play out there. The coach tells you it is your job to get that offensive line on board. It is your job not to be questioning yourself if you could hit that receiver. Trust your throw. You got the freaking arm. Get it down there. Stop holding back. If he
But
has the talent
that's
that
that.
he has, he would be throwing, but he doesn't trust his own judgment. He does not, and you can see it.
I
But
agree with
today he
what
did
you
a good
said.
job. Besides that fumble, today he did a good job.
I also want to say this too.
Well, today
Is I have to disagree. I don't think Justin Fields is calling the plays. And I know that
I don't think
a lot
the
of
play
people.
caller is
Well,
setting him up for success either.
Yeah,
Because usually in practice, all week, you know what your 10-play script is going to be.
yeah,
So your 10-play script is, you know what it is. So I always pay attention to the first 10 plays. I always do, because these are supposed to be the most comfortable plays that you got. And these are supposed to be the plays that you worked on that you know this defense is going to attack you with.
yeah.
This is what I always pay attention to.
So during the Bears game, if you guys were watching during the first part on there was a play where I don't know who screwed it up, Justin or whoever. They didn't know where the hell they were going. And Justin basically said, we're going to 15. We're going to 15. He basically said, we're going to Taylor right there for Denver to go right after. It's like, he told them to play out loud. It's just like, so who screwed that up? Was that the quarterback that screwed that up? You don't tell them who you're going to.
That was the quarterback. But I mean, like I said, this is listen, I'm gonna break it down to you a little bit better. It's hard for you to get a good kid out of a raggedy household.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean,
But
go ahead.
there's also that saying, you could have the best household, you could raise 2 kids, same loving conditions, everything else. You could have one kid that's going to go and be a big time multimillionaire, and you have a kid that's going to go live off the streets. It all depends on the person.
It does, because I mean,
so Justin has to stay up.
Let's be honest. Michael Jordan, greatest basketball player ever played. His brother is a mechanic.
Yeah.
All your kids ain't gonna grow up to be great. So I'm just letting you know. The Kelseys came out lucky. They gonna have 2 Hall of Fame.
Oh, for sure.
Sons. But
now I got a question for you, Brooke.
I'm listening.
Is it about Taylor Swift? Is the reason Aaron Rodgers flew in to go watch the game tonight because he wants to see her?
No. My question is, say the Bears don't fire the coach or the GM. They keep all the coaches and the GM. You get the first and second picks. That's how it plays out. Now, as a fan, are you 100% confident on Ryan Poles making those draft selections? Knowing that, like Dennis has said earlier, you can get 4 top players out of the draft in the first 2 rounds.
First
I don't
35
know
picks.
Ryan Poles as far as I could throw him. For one, he was scouting at fucking, excuse my language, he was scouting at Penn State. You want to go scout good players, go scout Georgetown. I mean, seriously, go scout Michigan. Even Notre Dame has some good running backs. I can't quite say anything about our QB right now. Almost lost to Duke last night. I was biting my nails at work watching the Notre Dame Duke game.
She loves Notre Dame? What?
Feel sorry for you.
Yeah, I'm a Notre Dame fan. That's why I'm a huge Cole Kmet fan.
I'm a Tennessee Volunteer fan. It's all right.
I got respect. I used to live in Tennessee, so Tennessee.
I've been in Philadelphia my whole life.
Tennessee's my second team. If I got to root for, Michigan's my number 1 team. I don't really root for anybody else. But as long as Tennessee's playing schools that don't matter to me, don't involve my Michigan.
But that's why is Poles at Penn State? Why isn't he at Georgetown?
I mean, let's be
Michigan, scouting.
Penn State.
Why is he at these other schools? And don't get me wrong, Penn State's got some good players. But you should be, over there, like I said, Alabama, Tennessee, Michigan. I mean, Penn State, these are the people Poles is looking at. He was seen at the game. It's just like, there you go.
But just because he went there for one game don't really mean much.
Yeah, who was Penn State playing against?
Penn State. Oh,
Was they playing against Northwestern?
I got to sit there and think because Colorado played USC, and I have to give Dion credit. I don't know what Dion said in the locker room, whether he threatened to take away their ice cream, their shades, or whatever. But Colorado came out and almost caught back up to tie and win that game. That game was awesome to watch.
Yeah, Penn State played Northwestern yesterday.
Oh, well, that's why he went to the game. Northwestern is right there in Illinois.
And just not that. Penn State this year, bro.
He didn't draft the
Well, that's what I said. Penn State has some good players this year. Don't get me wrong.
They're ranked number 6 in the nation right now.
Yeah, I know that. I know about Penn State, but I thought the way Brooke just said it, I thought he went to Penn State to go,
Well, he was at the Penn State game.
Yeah, he was at the Northwestern Penn State game, which isn't a bad idea because you get to scout 2 teams at one time.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be real. These GMs go to multiple games a year.
All right, fine.
Now, let me say this: you may have scouts on your staff, and they may be head over heels for, oh man, we need to get this guy, and you like, man, let me go see this dude play. Hold on, man. Yeah, we going to the game. I need you to talk to me while we watching this, so we can see what you talk about. Why you so head over heels over this guy?
Exactly.
All right. Well, I'm not a scouting expert. You guys all know that, and you guys know I don't.
I'm not a scouting expert either, but I've seen some people just like, you know what? I'm going out there too. Like when we went to go get when the Eagles went to go get Carson Wentz, our owner Jeff Lurie went all the way out there to go see him on his pro day.
Yeah.
My owner don't do nothing like that. That is very uncharacteristic of my owner. All right. Just want to let you know that is very uncharacteristic of him.
Exactly. I mean, they
you
do
guys
it all
are
the time.
crediting polls. Okay, fine.
Shit.
Well, I'm not saying that he's right or wrong. I'm just telling you, it is right there in his backyard. So
the scouting.
If you did want to do some of your own scouting and you wanted to see what your scouts see, and you wanted to evaluate them to make sure y'all as sharp as y'all need to be next year because y'all have 2 first-round picks and y'all can't fuck these up.
I hope they can't fuck them up.
And I mean, this is a deep class that's coming in this year. Like you could really get a lot of bang for your buck this year in drafting. I mean, really get a lot of bang for your buck. This is a deep class of talent that's coming in this year. So you're looking around and you're thinking, you're like, maybe we can. And worst come to worst, you're gonna trade Fields to. I don't think y'all should do this though. But you trade Fields to the Vikings. I'm telling you that. I'm telling you don't do it. I'm telling you don't do it. Don't.
Vikings will probably decline him at this point. They're like, no, we'll stick with Cousins. We'll give Cousins another year.
Well,
I'm telling you, if Fields goes to the Vikings, you'll have another episode of Dante Culpepper to Randy Moss. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to be that good, but I'm saying it's going to be that much trouble in your hands.
With JJ.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
JJ's just awesome. I can't talk enough about Jefferson. That kid, when he come out, he's one hell of a receiver.
But what I was going to say about scouting, but Dennis is probably right because I know that's how it usually works. See, I learned about scouting by watching hockey over the years because they'll have scouts. Yeah.
That's
I'm from Detroit, so I grew up big with the Red Wings.
Okay.
Yes, we were winning all those cups, and they have scouts. They'll go overseas, and they'll scout players and they'll pick. And then like the GM right now is Steve Eiserman, so you'll see him at a game. You'll see him at every game, and all of a sudden you won't see him, and they'll mention it on air, like, "Oh, Stevie's not here tonight because he's in Europe watching these so-and-so teams. So he's over there watching all the players he got reports on who's good." So,
right.
and that's how it works in football. The scouts go out to every college imaginable. They're at D3 schools even scouting players, and then they rely all the names that they think is worth looking into to the GM, and then when the GM gets a chance to go see a game, they do the final, okay, I like this kid. Okay, this kid, I don't like this kid, you know. And that's probably exactly why Ryan was there, is because Penn State's number 6, Northwestern's in his backyard. They're playing right there. He don't have to go far.
Okay,
you know.
fine. I'll stop ragging on him for being at the Penn State.
But I still
You can
don't
still
trust
rank-
him
you can
on
still rank him.
drafting.
I'm just, you had me thinking he went to Penn State. See, that was the difference. See,
My bad.
no. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're
Actually,
right about that.
even if he
But-
did go
but
to Penn
let's see-
State,
Let's see if he goes to the Northwestern Ohio State game, or if they play Ohio State. Let's see if he goes to that one, or
Please.
and if you think about it, even if he did go to Penn State, if they say they played in Penn State yesterday, even if he did go to Penn State, it wouldn't be that big of a shocker because Pennsylvania is not too far from North Carolina, where the Bears play today.
That's
no, the
true.
Bears didn't play in North Carolina today.
No, we were at home at Soldier Field
Were you?
today.
They was at home at
Denver.
Soldier Field.
We played Denver.
Oh,
Panthers,
yeah.
Vikings.
My bad.
We-
I got teams
We
mixed up.
lost to the team that gave up 70 last week. We
Yeah,
lost
For
to
some-
the team that gave up 70.
They spotted y'all 28.
So we've covered so much on the Bears, so let's bring the Eagles in on this. Let us know how you feel about your team.
I don't like the way my team is playing this laid back defense in the secondary, because it's just giving up a lot of yard. Like, to the point, everybody's so scared of our defensive line that they get the ball out real fast to their wide receivers. So the fact that we playing so far off is not really giving us good defensive help for our
Yeah.
D-line. Like, we need our defensive backs to be right up on them, pressing. Not always pressing, but at least be, 2 to 3, 5 yards on them, to
Yeah.
the point that we're there and we're able to jump those quick routes if they come up, because everybody's just looking to get rid of the ball fast. That's the scouting report now. Get rid of the ball fast so the defensive line don't kill you.
I mean, you got no choice. It's either you get the ball out fast or you die. The choice is yours.
I'm gonna tell you another thing about this though. I usually don't do this much talking about my linebackers, but I'm starting to fall in love with these guys. They are rubbing me the right way. Let me just say that. I am going to say they are starting to rub me, and I haven't had linebackers that I fell in love with in a long time. Let me just say that. So they are starting to rub me the right way. I like what they're doing. Obviously now I just, I feel as though we gave up too many points this week. We should have got more after Big Face Sam. He should not have looked that good. And we have to keep running the ball with Swift. I understand Gainwell is there, supposed to be the scat back or whatever, but Swift is on fire. When
Honestly,
you have a guy that's on fire like that, give him the ball and get the hell out the way.
You're right. For my fantasy team purposes only, give that motherfucker the rock.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, mine's too. But I'm just saying, like, give him the ball. I don't want to see Jalen Hurts running no more. There's no need to. Only time I want to see Jalen Hurts have an attempt at running is for the brotherly shove.
Yes.
That's the only time I want to see it. Or as y'all will call it, the tush push. Whatever. That's the only time I want to see it. Other than that, I don't want to see him do no read options and running. I want to see him do none of that. If he has to run because the play broke down, that's cool. But no design runs. Don't need to be none.
Exactly. No, I totally get where your standpoint, because like I always go back on my broadcast show back in the off season. We talked a lot about Lamar Jackson's situation this offseason. And that's what and a lot of Lions fans were like, oh man, we should, trade Goff and get Lamar. And I'm like, no, I do not want that, because he don't know how to stay still. Like, at least I want somebody who's going to throw the ball before they're going to run the ball. I don't mind them running the ball when they got no choice to run the ball like Hurts does. because that's the only time you really see him run the ball in a QB run is when he can't get the ball off to anybody. He's not just hiking the ball and saying, fuck it, I'm going to try to run an 80-yard touchdown right now.
No.
You know what I mean? And that's why he works out for perfect, and that's why you guys got to the Super Bowl, because he was healthy enough to make it to the Super Bowl, just like Patrick Mahomes. He'll throw the ball before he runs the ball. He might run around in circles in the backfield to get a pass off, but he's not necessarily running until he has no choice but to run. And that keeps their body healthy throughout the year because they're not taking all those big shots by running through the linebacker core down the field. And it's like, and then you look at Lamar Jackson, like, yeah, he's exciting. He wins you games. He can easily win you the division and MVP. But every time he comes to playoffs, he's hurt.
Did you see him today?
I did not catch the game today.
Oh, man. When you get a chance, you go back and you watch that game today. If there's any point in time you had a problem about his throwing, when I tell you pinpoint accuracy, I mean pinpoint accuracy within double coverage.
They played Cleveland today.
Cleveland has a good defense.
No, for sure. No, I like him as a decent quarterback. I'll give him his props.
Let me go back to your big point that you made when you said you wouldn't trade Jared Goff for Lamar Jackson. Let me just say this. If the team was kept constructed and Jameson Williams did not get suspended, adding Lamar Jackson to that offense would have took it through the roof. You guys have a top 5 offensive line. Been a little shaky this year, but they still top 5.
Oh, for sure.
Right. And can run the ball all day, which I don't understand why Jahmyr Gibbs ain't getting the ball. But anyway, adding Lamar Jackson to that dynamic duo would have been deadly. St. Brown, Jameson Williams, DeAndre Swift, man, listen.
But see, here's the thing, and I'm not going to disagree entirely with that because I believe you're right in a lot of ways. But my thing is, when Lamar goes through his struggles on throwing the ball, he wants to run all the time. What good is a QB going to do me in the playoffs if he got bruised ribs and can barely play the game like we need him to play the game? Or better yet, look at the last 2 years when it came to playoff time in Baltimore. Where was Lamar? Hurt, done for the year.
I blame that part on the offensive coordinator. I believe that y'all have a better offensive coordinator than what they had with the Baltimore Ravens.
I agree with that too.
I believe Brian Johnson gets the best out of his players. Now, we only seen him with Jared Goff. I want to know how he does with the rest of his QBs, but I don't want Jared Goff to get injured to find out. So
I got something for you because I could actually pull this still. I should be able to still pull this up, and I could prove if I still have it, which I don't think I do. Damn it. I actually ran the stats between Lamar Jackson and Jared Goff. And honestly, after all the numbers, Goff was still the better throwing QB. Not by much.
okay.
Only by a few numbers. But in stat-wise, if you actually break what they've done in their career, they're literally neck and neck, pretty much when it comes to throwing the ball.
And Goff got more playoff wins, so I'm with you on that.
The only thing Lamar blows Goff out the water is what he can do with his legs. But just like Michael Vick, I've said I loved Michael Vick. When I was young, I loved watching Atlanta. I loved watching Vick. But the same thing always happened. By the time it came to playoffs, Vick is playing with broken ribs, sprained ankles, you name it. And they never done nothing. Now, what really sucked is when he came out of prison and went to Philadelphia with A.D. Reed, that was the best Michael Vick that the league's ever seen. And why I say that is because he wasn't running the ball like he was in Atlanta. He had some runs, but he was throwing the ball way more than he was running. And if Philadelphia had a top-tier team at that point, He might have got you. He might have got you guys a Super Bowl.
Might have. I believe you.
You know, and now don't get me wrong. If Lamar Jackson already transed his game to that situation, I'd be like, send the fucking kitchen sink to Baltimore. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? But I'm not really into that because I don't want a guy that is just going to go out there and possibly get himself hurt by trying making those plays. And to me, I get it. You know, you get that superstar affection. You know, you got the ability to do it. You're going to want to do it. So I get it. You know, I'm not dissing him on playing his game. That's why he's in the NFL. He didn't get there by not doing what he's been doing. That's for sure. You know, but it's like at the same point, it's like that's where it comes on to me, QBs. And if you think about it, they're the legit rushing QB who won a game has been players like Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, and Jalen Hurts is going to get a Super Bowl. I don't know about it might not be this year, it could be next year, but I for sure see him getting a Super Bowl before he ever leaves Philly. There's no doubt in my mind.
Well, thank you.
He's actually a kid that I'm not gonna lie, I predicted Jalen Hurts to be a bust. Just because his size. He was one of the smallest QBs that came in at his time. And the dude plays like he's fucking 6 foot back there. And then it's incredible. But you know what I mean? It's just like Tua. Tua's another guy, another kid that I thought it was going to be a bust. I didn't want Detroit to draft him. Sometimes I'm kind of mad that we didn't because he's turning out to be a really good QB down there in Miami. The only question is, can the concussions lay off and let him have his career? But so far, and going into week 5, he's took some. Today he took some shots, and he was all right.
Is he under concussion protocol or no?
No, he's fine. I'm just saying, after last season,
he was beat up pretty bad. They pulled him last year. He thought he was good to play, and then what was it? The NFL Player League or NFL had to go in and pull him for afterwards.
He finished that game, and then it was the very next game on the opening drive. He took another shot to the head, and that's the game. He didn't get back up. He was just out. And then the league went back to the week before to that play, and they actually fired those doctors.
I was going to say
let him back in the game.
There was a whole huge thing in the NFL last year about that with him.
Yeah. So, like, for Tua, an outside fan, that's what I was worried about. I'm like, dude, this could really just screw his whole career. Because concussions are a thing, man.
Because Tua had to come back from injuries from college.
Yeah.
Play in the NFL. That kid is strong.
Exactly. Because, see, people don't realize how bad concussions really are. And growing up watching becoming a hockey fan when I was younger, and that was the first sport I watched, I've learned a lot about concussions through that. Like the Red Wings had a player not too long ago, about I'd say 8 years ago, he took a puck to the mouth and got a severe concussion from it. He didn't play for a whole year. He went through a whole year with concussion symptoms. He just had a new kid. He didn't meet his daughter until it finally went away a year later, pretty much, because he couldn't leave his bedroom. He had to keep his bedroom dark. He couldn't watch TV. He couldn't look at nothing because any little light hit him, it instantly hurt his eyes, hurt his head, and he sat a whole year. And then the crazy son of a gun came back and played hockey like nothing ever happened. And I'm like, dude, I would have took my money and just walked away. I would have never came back. Fuck that.
Well, when you love a sport that much, though, and you enjoy it, and that's why you see players, they enjoy the sport and what they do, they will put their bodies through hell. And then you got some people that have just lost the enjoyment, whether it's the team they play for.
See, right now, with you got Claypool call you will let's be honest, you had Justin Fields call up the coaching staff first last week. He's
But
also done
come
it.
back on 2 or 3 hours later and almost recanted some of his stuff. So right now here's the thing. Chicago is such a dumpster fire from the players not producing, the calls being shitty, everything. The whole organization, like you said, is kind of a dumpster fire. So is it to the point that people are worried about their jobs because you're right. Are we going to extend Justin Fields? So he's disgruntled in a way. Is he going on there calling out coaches, pointing fingers for this? I'm going to be honest, and I've said this before. Opening day, when I was at Soldier Field, they announced the offensive line that come on Fields, our receivers, tight ends, all that. The only cocky person I've seen running out was Claypool. Claypool was running out like, give me. Oh yeah, I'm the man. And you've seen the rest of them just run out nonchalantly like, yeah, I'm here. He was there for the fame, the hype.
Yep.
So in a way, is it he could produce in Pittsburgh and he had Big Ben. I believe his rookie year, Big Ben was still the QB there. And he did okay. But then we get him, and he really last year didn't do crap for us last year. Mooney was still out catching him, still is out catching him. So the thing is it all these players pointing at coaches and coaches pointing at players because everybody now is going, fuck, we can't get it together. We're all going to lose our jobs. So I'm going to point fingers at you. You're going to point fingers at me, and we're not going to fix the problem. And they need to fix the problem and stop pointing fingers. I don't know. Maybe send them to Disney fucking land for a weekend together, all tied together like little kids, and see if they can get along.
I think it's more the coaching and the players are. You can clearly see Claypool got told to stay home because of his comments. Justin, like you said, Justin Fields came back a couple hours, basically tried to change what he said, and he was told by the coaching staff, if you don't do it, you're not playing. Probably.
And I'm honest. I want to see the kid.
So that tells me right now that none of those players are bought into that system, and it's only going to get worse from here for the Bears. I think for this season, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And hopefully, you guys get what needs to be done, and a new GM and some new coaches in there.
So my question is: Matt going to be fired in the middle of the year, or are they going to wait till the end of the year to fire him?
End of the year.
Probably end of the year.
On Fox, sorry.
And
I thought Fox was a shitty head coach.
I mean,
it's all right.
He wasn't the greatest, but
That's what I said, and I thought Fox was a shitty coach. No.
Well, he did win the
win
the Super Bowl with the Broncos with Peyton, I believe. He was the head coach then, wasn't he?
Well, that's what I said. Right now, Matt is making Fox look good for the Bears. And Fox was a year and a half, 2 years with us? He was short-term head coach and he was gone.
Now, I will say, I mean, it really depends. If the Bears ain't going to keep Justin by the trade deadline, there might be a team desperate enough to maybe make an offer on Justin Fields. But
the Jets are down a quarterback.
I could see Kirk Cousins being traded at trade deadline, possible at the trade deadline if Minnesota is still towards the basement. Because because he's a free agent this year. Minnesota hasn't signed him. So if they have no chance at playoffs by the trade deadline, I could see Minnesota try to go get some draft picks, draft capital. And who knows? I don't think the Jets are going to trade for a quarterback like they keep trying to hype up.
Apparently is having a speedy recovery. I just did some researching on it. He is having a speedy recovery. The doctors okayed him. So he flew in today to New York. So he will be at the game tonight, which is coming on here. So he will be at the game. He talked to his team, everything else, and he is planning on being back to play in time for playoffs. I'm like, oh my God, can it get any more real with the fucking Rogers drama? Excuse me.
No, it's gonna be drama, but he ain't gonna be able to play for no playoffs. But
because the Jets are not going to be in the playoffs.
They should have flexed this game. That's what they should have did. They should have flexed this game and made it a 1 o'clock game. And they should have put another game at 8 o'clock. But
they ain't gonna do that because Taylor Swift is rumored to be at the game again. So the NFL got to make their money because all the Swifties.
That's why they made the phone call to Aaron Rodgers saying, "Hey man, can you at least attend the game?"
Yeah, we got to compete with Taylor Swift here.
Right.
And
but all in all, I will say this: if Aaron Rodgers is clear to be out of his home and be back in New York around team, able to walk around and stuff, it might not be a bad thing for the Jets because he might be able to work with the team because a lot of reports in the locker room, defense is getting pissed off that Wilson's still the starter and they're mad at the coach for basically apologizing for him. And so they've been on the verge of blowing up, becoming locker room issues. So maybe with Aaron Rodgers back in the scene, he can help Wilson. If I'm the Jets and Robert Saleh, I'm having Aaron Rodgers on the sideline with the headset to talk to that kid. Throughout the game.
Wilson isn't that bad of a QB.
No, he just has no confidence because the fucking fans have been on him so hard. It's hard to have that confidence. It's when you're struggling with your confidence and then you got millions of people fucking on your ass. It's hard.
Did you see some of the videos from last week of the KC Bears game? Justin Fields was getting screamed at by Bears fans that were down there by the field.
Yeah.
And the video of where it was pissing Fields off. They were calling it basically worthless trash. And there's got to be a thing when you go to these games, you got to understand you're going to have your pissed off fans. You got to tune it out. You're in the big leagues. It doesn't matter what 1 or 2 fans think, but when you start getting a majority of your fan base, you have to take a deep dive at yourself and go, what can I do to fix this? What do I need to work on? But Fields got ripped down pretty hard at KC by our own fan base. And that's kind of sad. I understand.
It is. I mean, look at Madison for the Vikings. He was getting called racial slurs, the whole 9 yards. And then they're getting mad at fucking him because he's still playing like shit. I wonder why the dude's playing like shit, man.
But he had a hell of a game. Madison, he did good last week for Minnesota. Yeah. And that's the thing. Don't tear your players down. Try and build them up. But I understand when we do these talk shows, I come on here and I say it like it is. I'm a female. We all know this about me. I don't care if we're running a 2-3-D. You guys all know that. If we're doing screenplays, whatever. Did you blow the coverage? Did you not throw? Did you mess up the play? I look at it from a woman's point of view because I don't need all the jumble jive stats involved. This player didn't get the job done. You can clearly see it. He didn't cover his man, messed it up. Oh, he was screwed off. He fumbled the ball because he was getting cocky. And we've seen it how many times where we've had cocky receivers or runners thinking, oh, well, look, I'm to the end zone, no one behind me, and they come and get stripped from behind. We've seen it how many times?
A lot throughout the years. But I mean, what I was going to say, it's one thing to come on here and tell the truth. You know what I mean? Yeah. How your team played. It's another thing to go personal.
And I think they were messaging him, weren't they? Messaging him on Instagram and everything else. And that doesn't need to be. I don't care what fan base you're from, what religion, race, color. You don't do that to a player. They're out there doing the best that they can. And until you put on pads, a helmet, suit up, and get tackled and shoved to the ground how many times and taking these hard hits, keep your mouth shut.
I mean,
Stuff
fuck.
happens.
Look at, I can't think of the player's name. It only happened a few years ago, but Green Bay. Their guy fumbled the ball, cost them a game, and their fans went so hard. And then like 2 weeks later, they traded him completely out of Green Bay. And I don't even think that guy's in the league anymore. I can't think of his name though.
Well, if that's the case, I feel really bad for O'Connell today that came in because Jimmy G is out. Because Mac, like I said, Mac sacked him 6 times. Not only did he sack him 6 times, I believe there was 3 to 4 forced fumbles that Mac caused today on this poor kid. So, but that's the thing. He's a youngin'. It's going to happen. There's growing pains with every team. The Bears have been a captain team for how many years? I am still a fan, win or lose. Yes, it gives me a reason to drink more beer on the weekends. We all know this. But look at you guys. Chris, you've been a Lions fan for how long? And look at them this year. It's one of those things. It doesn't matter if your team wins or loses. Stand by them. The racial slurs don't need to happen. The threats. Keep it out of the sport. The same with fighting in the stands, getting into fights. I know we lost a fan here a couple of weeks back over stupid stuff.
Yeah, it's...
You know what? Go to these games, enjoy these games. And like when I was at Soldier Field, I even posted a recording, I think, on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. I think I hit it all. Walking out of the tunnel, we were with Packer fans, and we were still chanting Green Bay sucks, and they were giggling and laughing. And then they come back and say, the Bears still suck, or Packers own you, Rodgers owns you. But there was no fights. It was fun. And I don't know if that's just because of the stadium, what it was. But when I was at Soldier Field, I had no issues with Packer fans. None with Bears. But as you see, I have several Packer fans as friends. But we have several of us in the North. We all get along. We all do our trash talk. But at the end of the day, we're all friends.
Exactly. I've been to thousands of hockey games, few Lions games, and I've never had an issue in any stadium because it's just a game at the end of the day. I'm not going to go out of my way to take it to a level that it don't need to go. But some of these people just they get so deeply and they get so angry if the team don't perform. And then shit like this happens, and it's crazy because to me, I never understood it. Like, you want your team to play better, but we're going to talk so much shit, and it's going to get back to them. And then, to me, it's like if I'm Madison, I give him props for going out there and still playing his ass off, because to me, that would fuck with me. Like, I'm supposed to go out here and play my ass off, put my body on the line week in and week out for a bunch of ungrateful motherfuckers that don't give a shit about me at the end of the day. They only care if I'm playing good.
And that's the thing. These players, they put their bodies through hell. Their training they do, the food they eat, everything else, the hits, the blows they take on the field. And until you suit up, respect them.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know if you guys watched it yet, but that Jason Kelce documentary.
It's a good one.
That just popped up on my thing when I'm pulling up my.
Honestly, watch it.
The Kelce one?
Yeah. It shows them go through the whole season last year pretty much. You actually see raw footage of how he makes it through a day with his body and everything that he goes through week in and week out. Through all last season, all the way through the Super Bowl. And it's like actually watching them, see them go through all that. And it's like, this motherfucker still gets up every day is a father, goes to practice, a husband, and he's sitting there at one point where he hooked. It's like an electric massager, some short with like suction cups, and he's like, I literally have to do this so many times a week just to be able to walk around my house, like type stuff. And I'm just like, dude, like that would I don't know, like how do you keep playing week in and week out after that when you're getting that up there in your career and your body's recovered, taking all that just to recover to go play another game and do it all over again. That's why like I give him so much respect that he came back again this year, and I wouldn't be surprised if he plays one more year after this year.
I'm assuming with the suction cups, that must mean he's got like disc out or something that's causing like blood flow that's not flowing through. That kind of what it is.
Not that.
I'll have to watch the documentary. I saw it pop up when I was going to the KC Jets game here.
He explains it. I think it's just that it takes a lot. It helps him get relieve the aching and his pain from all the hits he took the week before. You know.
Oh, wow.
But he gets like real deep in there. He has a conversation where like, you know, what scares him about CTE and like all the hits he does take with his head for being a center, you know, because when a center's done like that, the first contact is usually their helmet every play, you know, and it's just like it's really good raw footage. Like you can see what some of these players got to do just to be healthy through the whole season. And it's crazy. I mean, like St. Brown, I love St. Brown. Like that dude every day at practice catches 200 balls a day. And if he misses, and then he'll do 20 push-ups for every ball he drops.
Yeah, you know, he got a chip on his shoulder that everybody that was drafted before him. So he's out there to be better than everybody that drafted before him. And then, you know what? I pick him every year in fantasy because I call him Cooper Kupp's little brother.
I think he's better than Cooper Kupp. So I think eventually.
All right, Chris, your fandom is taking over. I think I'm going to have to say I'm out. Your fandom is taking over. That is too much. Better than Cooper Kupp, Chris.
Hey, Cooper Kupp is great. I'm not taking nothing from him, but Cooper Kupp is starting to get up there in his career now. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking nothing from Cooper Kupp because that dude's a beast.
Cooper Kupp has only been in the league for 7 years.
Has it been 6 years?
Yeah. He came in the league the same year as Dakota Prescott.
Yeah. See, I don't know why. I always think he's been around for about 8 years.
Like 6 or 7. Cooper Kupp is my guy, man. I've been loving Cooper Kupp since he's been in the league.
Oh, he's been my dude. I've took him. He was usually my go-to guy in fantasy every year until St. Brown came along.
Honestly, I had to stop getting him every year because then everybody starts stealing them from me because they knew how much I loved them. So then that's when I started getting St. Brown and Jalen Waddle. Now they steal Jalen Waddle and St. Brown from me. So now I got to move on. I got to get me some different wide receivers because I usually don't draft Eagle wide receivers because people will take them because they think that I want them. Like, no, those ain't the receivers I want.
See, to be honest, St. Brown's the only Lions receiver I will ever take. And only why I say that is because as a fan of the Lions, it's hard for me to sit my boys. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So if I only keep one of them and it's Cooper like St. Brown, you're never going to sit St. Brown unless, you know what I mean, unless he's hurt or bye week.
Before I get up out of here. Brooke, I was honestly expecting y'all to do a double bubble. I was expecting y'all to win 2 games in 5 days. That's what I was expecting. Do you still feel as though y'all going to win this Thursday?
Who do we play this Thursday?
The Washington football team.
Oh, my God. Are you serious?
Dead serious. They got a hell of a defense over there.
And I'm going to tell you, no. Bears are taking a fat L this Thursday on Thursday Night Football.
Oh, is it a home game for y'all? Or what?
I will be crying in my beers, and I will probably start drinking from the time I get up Thursday because I got to do some yard work, clean my garage, everything. It's my day off. I will be drunk before the game even starts, so I won't cry that bad. I'm going to be honest. But we are not going to win against the Commanders. I am actually going to put 16 points on them in my Pick'ems league. I've been sucking my Pick'ems league. So I'm putting 16 points on Washington. I'm going to win this week. I'm going with all upsets. Except that game, because that game's not an upset. We already know Washington's going to win.
Well, to be 100% honest, with how Washington played today, they should be able to beat the Bears.
Yeah, they should, but it's a week-to-week league.
That is true.
I tell people this all the time. They probably got all their juices flowing and got up to play us. And then on Thursday, they'll lose to the Bears. And then everybody be sitting there like, this ain't even the same Washington team to play the Eagles. No, they only got up to play us. People get up to play us. I don't know why.
The only way I see the Bears winning is if Deion Sanders comes over and gives them a pep talk like he did yesterday with his college boys at halftime. That's the only way I see the Bears winning. I'm going to be honest. Even today watching it, we played Denver and we couldn't even beat Denver. Denver had so many missed coverages. Clement was wide open for the one in the end zone. I mean, and yes, I understood Justin drew them off. So they started chasing. They left actually not just Clement, but a couple of our receivers open in the end zone. Justin just picked Clement and went with it. But there was a lot of blown coverages today by Denver. And if Denver was on the Bears like Casey was in the rest of the two games, no. We would have probably, maybe if we were lucky, maybe put up 17 points. If lucky.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with Washington. Well, I guess we'll have to see how this goes.
Okay.
It could definitely, if the defense shows up, the Bears have a chance to win. I don't think Washington is really like lights out, like you don't have a chance.
Right.
But them motherfuckers play from the start of the game to the end of the game. They don't let up. And at times, I thought the Eagles had them. And then at the end of the game, it was like, bam.
Yeah, because that wasn't our best. That wasn't our best outing. Matter of fact, we haven't had our best outing yet.
Yeah. I was actually to me, the best game this Sunday, hands down, was the Eagles and Commanders so far. I thought so anyway.
I'll have to go back and watch that on my NFL Pass.
I know that game like literally gave me my W, sealed my W in fantasy this week, just because the Eagles really had to start throwing the ball. Brown ended up going off. Swift did good too. And then it went to OT, and Brown caught some more passes, got me even more points. So I was like, fuck yeah. He got me over 30. I want to say he got me about 35 points in my league today.
Holy.
And Montgomery got me 33 points Thursday night.
If I would have played Montgomery in the 3 leagues, I had him because I wasn't smart enough to go change my lineup. Nor did I get Kamara in. He was eligible to play this week now.
Yeah.
So that should be a little bit of a game changer there for them with Kamara coming back.
Not really that much because Baker whooped that ass today.
A damn sure did.
Well, they were out. Carr, weren't they?
Yeah, but
Carr
see, they were out Carr.
No, Carr played today.
Did he play today?
Yeah, Carr played today.
No,
See,
pretty sure Carr Well, maybe Carr did
No,
play.
I watched the game.
And Carr was questionable.
No,
See,
So he
okay.
did.
yeah, he started the game. Y'all gotta start watching these games.
What I was originally going to say was it didn't matter if Carr played or not, because Winston has won games for the Saints. He's been an assistant for a couple of years, and with Kamara back, I thought they would at least be able to beat the Buccaneers, regardless of what quarterback played, or at least have a chance. But Baker, and I keep giving props to Baker every week. That dude is playing for his NFL life, and so far he is not disappointed.
He damn sure has. I can agree with that.
I'm a little softy for Baker. I like a good comeback story.
I'm a softy for Baker because when Baker was with Oklahoma, I did a lot of betting on Oklahoma, and he did a lot of winning. So, and I mean, he did enough winning to pay rent, pay bills at the house. So, Baker's all right with me.
Yeah,
that's why I'm calling him Baker touchdown maker.
Hey, I've always loved Baker after he beat Ohio State and he planted that damn flag in the middle of that stadium.
When he stamped that flag in the middle, I said, "Oh, this is my guy." This is my guy right here.
That's when Baker became okay with me.
That's right. That is my guy.
I shared a clip in my group NFL Renegades. It's a 32 team group, and it was Baker. He QB sneaked, and I forget what team. It was like I think week 1, maybe week 2. He ran a QB sneak, and they tackled him, or he took the one defender and actually shoved him to the ground, and then they forced him out of bounds. And as Baker's running away, he turns around and goes, "Beef up, son. Beef the fuck up. I just took you the fuck out." And I'm like, that is Baker. That's Oklahoma Baker right there. That would be something Oklahoma that he would say when he played for Oklahoma. Because he's a cocky little son of a gun when he played for Oklahoma. But he backed his mouth up and his play. That was the best part. Like, I'll never forget the game where he grabbed his nuts to the other team in college. And they caught it on national TV. They made a big deal. I'm pretty sure he went out and dominated that game too.
Grabbed his.
He did.
Just grabbed his trunk.
I feel like Baker's the version that everybody want. The version of Johnny Manziel that everybody wanted.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense, because Manziel was like very similar, but we never got any really good play out of him. And then and then Baker comes along. I think the Buccaneers they could possibly win that division. I thought the Saints would run away with it, to be honest, since they got Carr, but Baker's really keeping the books right there. And then after today, I'm pretty sure they would have the number 1 seed in that division.
Carr's got some work to do yet. I don't think he's fully integrated.
I just remember I had to bring this up. There's a meme. I seen a meme going around, and it's Sean Payton. He was wearing a hoodie today in the Bears game. There's a point where he pulls his sleeves out, and a trainer comes with a pair of scissors and cuts the sleeves off of it. And then they show the sleeves on the ground, and they said, right before the Broncos come back and take this game away from the Bears, maybe this has something to do with it. And it's just funny because it made me think of Bill Belichick. He never had sleeves on his hoodies. And here's Sean Payton cutting his sleeves off, and then they make the comeback from 21 to come back and win the game. And I'm like, are you serious? The meme was great.
That's a good one though.
It was a good one. It's like it should have said the moment the Bears fucked up.
Yeah.
So I let the. But
Oh,
have you guys got any takes on Minnesota?
I didn't watch Minnesota's game today because of course they were playing the same time Chicago was. And I'm gonna be honest, I kind of fell asleep through part of the Chicago game because of the way the work schedule being up. Usually I don't work Sundays. We know this. I didn't see the Vikings game this week. Last week I did see it. They got all the potential that they need. They just, for whatever reason, it's a thing with the Vikings. When they need to make big plays, they don't.
Yeah.
So I will have to watch the Eagles game and the Vikings on the NFL Plus probably in the next couple days just to kind of get caught up on their games because normally I do. But yeah, I am.
I didn't watch too much of the Minnesota game, but I did know that they only won 21-13. And at one point, when I turned the game on, they were losing 10-0. They scored a touchdown. And then by the time I got to the party, it was 13-7 Carolina. And then they scored a touchdown, and then they scored one more touchdown after that. So I don't know overall how good they played or how good they looked. But to me, I thought they should have kind of blown Carolina out. But I still think they got some real problems.
Yeah, it will be, I guess we'll just have to kind of watch it. And I know some of the Vikings hosts that were supposed to come on were having internet issues. I'm hoping they'll be on next week. One does work, so he's on every other week. Hopefully we'll kick the show off on time next week in the morning, not PM. Thanks for flexing with my work schedule today.
No problem.
Appreciate it. Thanks for doing your hosting that you do for us and the producing.
Anytime. No, it actually kind of worked out because I didn't get to bed till like 4 a.m. myself, and usually that's not usually me.
I was so afraid to sleep last night after I got home from work, knowing when I had to be up. I was like, oh man,
Yeah.
I'm just going to start, and my shoulder is still killing me. I messed it up doing yard work last Thursday. I'm like, sitting here watching or fall asleep. I'm like, I can't sleep. If I sleep, I'm not going to get up for work.
Yeah, when you called me at like 3 and talked and we postponed it to 7, I was like, thank you. There is a God.
Well,
I don't know what it was. I don't know if I ate something yesterday or the beer just didn't agree with me, but towards the end of the night, I just got sick. I wasn't feeling good at all.
and yeah, like I thought, because at the bar I'm usually hooked to Wi-Fi. I wasn't at the bar. I was actually at another building doing stuff this morning. So my phone, I actually had like I think 1 or 2 bars of LTE because I don't know what it was, just being over like 20 feet from the bar. I had service, and I thought, like I said, I thought I would have been out of there by like 10:30. Yeah, no, I wasn't out there at 10:30. It was after 11, and I am flying to get home to watch the game. And then I fell asleep after like halftime. I was just like, I couldn't stay awake, didn't have any beer. The first time I started drinking is actually when we started the show. So, but I am probably going to jump off because
All right.
I'm going to watch football.
I feel that.
And,
But anyways, it was a pretty good show. We had a good show tonight, and everything.
yes, good show. And like I said, hopefully we'll get our other host on board with times matching. I know we have work schedules. A couple of our Vikings hosts work every other weekend. Loki, who is our Bears fan, he will jump on every now and then, but he does have a busy life over there in Mexico. But he's got some great insights. So when we do get him on, it's kind of a treat. I know he has some stuff going on today because he was originally going to be on and then he couldn't make it. So
Yeah.
we all have lives, so it's understandable.
Exactly. Anyways, you guys remember we do Sundays usually in the morning. If it ever has to be flexed, obviously it'll be the same time tonight. If we ever pay attention to the announcements, it's always posted every week. I shared the groups. It's always on Fourth and Go Sports when this show is going to be on, and the Fourth and Go broadcast is on every Tuesday. So I'll be back on Tuesday with Dave. Catch us then, and then catch us next Sunday.
Sounds good. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
You guys have a good night. Later.